Christy, I'm ready for spring.
Yeah.
Well, I say I'm ready. I really want to do something spring related, but I have some more prep work to do. So I got a new box here I want to try out. One of the things I want to do to get ready for spring is to make it easier to get to the underside of my lawnmower. Quite frankly, I've been a bit negligent about keeping the underside of my lawnmower clean. So I found this online. I think you're going to like it. It's yellow.
It's bright. What is it?
This is called the Load-N-Go. Load-N-Go. We'll show you how it works. It replaces these pieces right here.
So those are the pieces currently where you drive over, right?
Yeah. So it's going to replace those right there.
Okay.
And it's got the loader connection, JDQA loader connection in there.
That's cool. I
So
think
this one
I
goes
can
right
see
here.
what that's going to do.
Yep.
I think I like.
I do too. Let's see if we can get it put on. This project looks really simple. All we need to do is remove these drive-over ramps and replace them with the yellow ones. The only complications, and they're minor, are these black spindle covers, they call them. Have to be transferred from here to there, and the discharge chute has to be taken off and put back on top of the larger one, which goes on the other side. In case you haven't been keeping up, this is a new deck to me. This is a 60D deck that came with our new Johnny 2018 model. So I haven't looked under here at all. It had about 50 hours on it when we got it. I have no idea how much of that was mowing time or other usages, so this is kind of new. It's kind of an adventure here to see what we're going to find. Hopefully we don't see any damage, any excessive wear for that amount of time. Now this product is not available for the 54D or the 72D, any of the other mower decks. It's only available for the 60D at this time. I have a feeling when they see how popular this is going to be, it'll become available for the other ones. I think this is a brilliant idea. I think we'll go ahead and do this left side and finish it up before we even move over to the right. That'll make it easiest for us. Now, this spindle cover, as they call it, looks like it should mount right in there where the hole is allowing access to the grease fitting. Not on this side. It needs to go all the way out like this. Now this is an original Deere part. It's not a third party. We do a lot of featuring of third-party small company parts. And that really is what you would think this would be, because it's not typical for Deere to have a, just a small attachment to make your life easier. Usually they are focused on the tractor and the major pieces, but in this case they've got, I think, a winning product here. I like this thing. Now you can get yours at greenpartsstore.com/TTWT. Greenpartsstore.com is a new sponsor to us. Actually, that's the online store for AHW LLC. greenpartsstore.com/TTWT. And we're going to be featuring products periodically. I don't know how frequently, but every time we come up with something cool like this that we can find, we're going to feature it, and it'll be at that link. greenpartsstore.com/TTWT. All of the products we have featured are listed there. So have a look. Most likely, they will be useful for your 1025R, 2038R, maybe even a 3R series. Check them out. Okay, so we left those bolts in. We just took the nuts off of those two bolts that were sticking up, lifted the drive-over portion off, and now we're going to put the nuts back on.
Did you hit the easy button on this one?
This is definitely the easy button. Now, I may need to get a standard socket. We'll see. No, that deep well fits perfect. This simple 13mm socket, nothing fancy there. And so far, that's the only tool I've used. Now, these are lock nuts, so they need to be snug, but you don't have to go crazy with them. One reason to tighten them up fairly snug, though, is because this mower deck will receive a lot of vibration, and they'll try to vibrate loose. It might be worth your time to check these maybe after your first mowing. After you put this kit on, come back and double check these, make sure they're still tight. That's it for the left side. I don't know, we'll have to see how well this works. At first glance, you would think that this thing would be up in the way.
It looks like it.
And driving Johnny over it might not work very well, so we'll try it out in a little while. Let's get the other side on, Christy. Now, if you go to greenpartsstore.com/TTWT, you find this product, and then if you'll use coupon code TTWT, you'll get free shipping. So that takes some of the sting out of it. It's not an inexpensive product by any means, but I think it's worth it, at least to me. Okay, hey, this one's actually mounted on the hole on the right side. Okay, we'll set that aside for a little bit because we also have to take this deflector off. Two of the bolts are going to connect to the same place where the deflector connects.
I take it they weren't put on with a torque wrench.
They did seem all very similarly tightened, so they may have been.
Oh.
Every bolt on one of these machines has a specified torque. A lot of times DIY guys like me don't pay much attention, but there is a specified torque for each bolt. This guy is spring loaded, this spring to keep it. So when we bring this up, that spring is, I'm going to grab it, and then we'll have to make sure we put that back down. See, we'll have to spring that like that when we put it back on. Okay, I'm putting this spindle cover on. This one goes on a little bit differently than the other side. I think I showed you on the other side how the hole is outside of the steel frame. In this case, the hole is right on the steel frame. I'm not going to worry too much about the torque here. I think they said 18 foot-pounds for this. But I'll pay a little bit more attention to the torque that we put on the main four studs here. Just set it right down here like this. And I'm going to line it up right over that grease fitting there. There's slots on all of these, and it allows me to line it straight up over that grease fitting. I'll go ahead and put these two nuts on here to get them started, but I won't tighten them. Good rule of thumb when you're assembling something, don't tighten any of the fasteners until you get the nuts on all of them. Okay. Put that on right there. I'm holding that spring up with my finger as I said I would. There we go. Okay, it said to tighten these to 150 inch-pounds. Inch-pounds, not foot-pounds, inch-pounds. But what would an inch-pound be? An inch-pound would be with a 1-inch lever, you pull with 1 pound. So 150 inch-pounds would be 1 inch out, 150 pounds. The way the leverage works, if you were 2 inches out, it would be 75 pounds. If you were 4 inches out, it would be 37.5 pounds that you pull. So every time you double your length, you have the amount you'd have to pull. But we don't have to do that calculation when we've got the torque wrench.
Does that one click like the other one did?
This one does click. I haven't got any of them tight yet. I'll show you that in just a second. Okay, I've kind of got them all snug now. We'll go around and tighten them until they click. There you go. So it clicked right there. And as I said, 4 inches would be 37.5 pounds. This is probably an 8-inch length. And so that would be somewhere around 20 pounds that I'd have to pull, right? Or push. And that's what it seems like it is. So it kind of gives you a little bit of an indicator as to whether it's adjusted even close to proper. Now, in reality, you don't have to torque these. I mean, this is one of those, what was it the guy in Germany said? Gutentight. Really, that's a good way to handle it. You should store your torque wrench with all the pressure off of it, all the way down to 0 pounds or whatever. I believe we've got the Load-N-Go mounted, Christy.
Well, that didn't take long.
How about if we get Johnny out and see if we can see under this deck? This will remove all excuse for me not cleaning the underside of my deck. Christy, as I was picking stuff up, I realized there was one more bolt in this left-hand side that I didn't see. And it's just a stud that sticks straight through. At first I didn't understand what its purpose was, but now I get it. Since this spindle cover here sticks out so far, I believe this stud's purpose is to stick through there and keep it from, spinning and getting away. I'm not even sure there were threads in there. There we go. Make sure your mower deck has the wheels up so that it's in the drive over position. That'll make it a lot easier to hook onto this thing. It is pretty bad, isn't it? No, actually it's not too bad, really. I mean, I bet this thing didn't mow over 2 or 3 times. The blades, on the other hand, look pretty rough. But if you're just going to be washing under your deck, you probably want to put the pins in, the JDQA pins here, to keep it from flopping. But that's probably all you need. Now, if you're actually going to be working on your deck, I would suggest some sort of blocking up. In the documentation, they show jack stands. I've got some jack stands right over here. Set it down on some jack stands. Any sort of a platform or whatever that will hold the whole load. But don't leave it hanging for that. But if you're going to be washing, you're not going to be under the deck. Do not get under anything on your front end loader while it's off the ground. Just a good rule of thumb. Okay, so we've shown picking it up. We've shown hooking it on. There's one more piece we haven't shown, and that's driving over it. Let's do that. Okay, for purposes of our demonstration, I just got the loader frame up out of the way. Most of the time you probably don't mow with your loader on. If you do mow with your loader on, I'm not sure why you would do so, because it's so easy to take off and it really makes the tractor much more maneuverable. On the other hand, some folks insist that you don't drive over the mower deck with the loader on because of the additional weight. Well, there's not a problem with that. These mowers are built to handle it. This deck is not in perfect adjustment yet. You guys have asked for an episode showing how to adjust the Auto Connect deck. I've always been resistant because I'm not an expert. But now, since this one, my new Johnny, is not in adjustment, I'm going to have to learn, right? So we'll do that in an upcoming episode. Let's see how it goes. We want to be in low range. We want to have the tractor in 4-wheel drive. Let's see if we can drive over that pin there and the other hook from the JD Quick Attach. So if we stop right there, that's the highest point. We're driving right on over it. I don't see any disadvantage yet. Well, maybe a little bit with my heavy hitch dragging on the back here. It's getting pretty close to the ground. Typically, you wouldn't have a heavy hitch on when you're hooking on your mower. Once again, Tractor Time with Tim being lazy. Okay, so it took a little finesse and patience to get this hooked on tonight. We'll get that smoothed out, but what we do want to show you is that it works. It was really no issue to drive over. We were a little concerned about Ken's bolt-on step. You saw that in the prior episode. We were concerned it was going to touch. It does not. It's about 1/2 inch apart. This is the mower in the fully lifted position. I'm really happy with these things. So again, take a look at greenpartsstore.com/TTWT. You'll see all of the featured products we have there. This is the first one. You get free shipping with your order. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim.
Walk over? Apparently.
I guess so.
Well, I figured if Johnny could drive over it, he can hold me.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know. We'll have to see how well this works. I mean,